Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a balanced rack, and it looks fairly bingo-y, but I'm not seeing one. I could play Wealth, and I'm minded to. It is rack wrecking, but it's a decent score. Ooh, wow. I retain one vowel and draw two more of the same, so this is a pretty grim rack. I do have some scoring tiles, so I could play Amity, but that's a low score and a weak rack leave. And I provided a ton of floaters for opponents. I could be in trouble here. So surely I have something better than Amity. I am by. Yep, that would play off two of the eyes and two of my scoring tiles. What else? I'm not seeing anything through the W. I hope there wasn't a bingo with that opening rack. So now, Wealth takes a Y, and I've got one, and Mighty is good, M-I-T-Y. So I will get value from the scoring tiles in Wealth. Bulk takes a Y. Iambi has been blocked. So let me see what Mighty scores. 27 points, that's pretty decent, more than I was expecting. It does take an A front hook. What else do I have? BY is good, but I'm not seeing any six-letter plays ending in Y. No D for Dimity. Yeah, I'm not seeing any way of playing off two I's. Bulk also takes a Y. But I'm getting a bigger score by putting the Y on the end of Wealth. I'm going with this. And I draw another Y, of course. And another scoring tile. So a long way from a bingo, but I do have a slender lead. And certainly scores of 27 points are fine. It's when you can only score in the low teens that it feels pretty grim, especially if you don't have a good rack leave. Now, FY is good, so Phi, My, Phi, bulky, but a rack leave of three I's is pretty awful. And I've drawn another Y. Such a shame I don't have a better rack, otherwise I could have a six-letter play in column 8, but I don't. I'm really going to struggle to play two I's with this rack. I have Wifty down from the W, which at least plays off two of the scoring tiles. What if that's blocked? I think Bifty may be good, but that doesn't play anywhere. What about through the M? Mifty, well again, no T. What I would have through M and N is Bimini. That's not available. So at the moment, all I've seen is Wifty, and that's quite nice in that it takes out this floating E in the double-double lane, which is potentially a very high-scoring spot for opponent. So I'm not in great shape with this rack and this board, but I do at least have a lead. It's when you're in this sort of situation and you're trailing that it's particularly frustrating. So what's the best I can do with bulky? This Y really doesn't go well with the rest of the rack. I'm struggling to see anything which uses even a single I. Opponent taking a while with their play. Hard to deduce anything from their play of bulk, just getting rid of three non-bingo-y tiles. Great, just 10 points for opponent, but it does suggest they're holding on to 5 good tiles, and perhaps opponent was looking for a bingo, and that's what took the time. So Yuta only takes an S, and opponent plays off a tile which could have gone in front of Mighty. So this is what I'm thinking. Oh wow, I don't have a T for Wifty. Ouch. Okay. That's a shame. Should I change? Gosh. Well, is there anywhere for Fib? The Y is quite a useful tile with MI, BY and bulky, so why not play off F and B? Is there a way of doing that? Ah, no, but there is a way of playing off 2 I's. I have Wi-Fi down here for 22, which preserves the Y, which is good. B goes okay with the Y. I am obstructing this E, and this is better than changing. I am going with this. Okay, not a bad rack, but I think that's just a response to the previous run of racks. At least I have no duplicates, and I've worked my way through this plethora of I's. So I have Viney and My. Do I have anything 6 letters long ending in Y? Even if it used the S, I think the score would justify it, but I'm not seeing anything. I don't think I'm going to get rid of B, V and Y. Nice play by opponent. Ritornell takes an L and an S. So, is Viney best? $34 points, that's decent. I'm hanging on to the S. Rack leave, pretty good. I'm not giving anything to opponent. Viney takes an L, but the A obstructs that. No vowel next to a premium square. And given that I do trail, this helps to keep the board open, although it was open in any event because of the A hook for Mighty. I'm going with this. Okay, slightly vowel heavy. And I'm not seeing a 7 here, and not many floating consonants on the board. I don't draw an L. I have Cobia on my rack, which sorts the rack out, leaving AS. Not seeing anywhere for that. What do I have in the form of plays with AN in them? I have Banco. I don't think Bianco is good. 34 points. Ooh, nice spot of E between bulk and R. I hadn't spotted that myself. MYC is good. So the best I can do there is Ochre, keeping bias. 24 points. I trail by 11, so I'm very much still in the game. Let me see what Banco scores. 28 points, that's decent. Rack leave is fine. Slightly vulnerable to vowels. But only 4 I's to come. What would be better would be a play of Cobia somewhere. What about a play? I have Abacai. I think this is going to be better. 32 points, it's more points. The vowel consonant balance in the rack leave is better. I'm sort of taking out this hot ritornell spot, but it's not massively hot since only 1 point tiles there. I am obstructing bingo lanes, but this play doesn't close the board down. Yeah, I am going with this. Well, not great. All these duplicates, 3 pairs, and a million miles away from a bingo. So do I have a bingo through the I? I have the ism ending. No, great. Opponent not bingoing. However, they are scoring. So I trail by 13. How to sort this rack out. All the I's earlier on, and now more duplicate issues. Just looking in column 8 to see if I can get rid of 6 tiles. I can play off one of my S's fairly cheaply because I have 2. So, do I have anything in column 11 with SC? Don't think so. Non-com through a C, but Ritornell only takes L and S. Porter takes an L and an S, I think. Well, I have monosis. It doesn't even get doubled. What about VOMs? Keeping duplicate N. 18 points. That's not good. Abacai only takes nothing. I could play mono and ob. Yeah, let me have a look at that. Only 14 points and rack leave not great. And although column 5 not super hot, it is a very easy place to score. Only 14 points, that's the real pain. What about column 5? I could stick my S after PI. 12 minutes on my clock, 43 tiles in the bag. So, what about gnomes? 19 points, a much better rack leave than NNS. Gnomes takes a G in front, not particularly dangerous. And although opponent can play in column 4, they won't score as much as was on offer with the mono play. Wow. Pies takes nothing in front. I'm just wondering, what about doing this instead? 19 points, Gnome doesn't take anything in front, so the G danger isn't there. There's all 3 Gs unplayed. I don't think SOS is massively worse than NOS. Still 2 S's to come. I could draw a third. Only 2 N's to come. And I think this is the deciding point. I do trail and pin takes an S in front, which I have, so I'm creating a new lane, which gnomes wouldn't have done. I am going with this. I do, of course, draw another S. Just wondering if an S were an N, would I have a bingo, but I'm not seeing one. Great, just 24 points for opponent. And, well, I notice I can sort the rack out with Sorb and Sorbs. Wow, astonishing that given all the tiles which go after B, as in all the vowels, plus a Y, that I haven't had, to my knowledge, a 6-letter play in column 8. Do I definitely not have a bingo here? There's a floating V. No. What about the I? No. What else? Another I, and that's it, and I'm not seeing a 7. This is what I've seen, sorting out duplicate S, duplicate R. That's 20 points. Playing off another S. I'm minded to keep this S because Sorb takes an O and an S. So if I don't have a bingo next turn, I might have, or I'm very likely to have, a 6-letter play. which I could play and retain an S. So I think on this occasion it's better to keep the duplicate S, even though the second S isn't worth very much, and I'm also helping the vowel consonant balance. What about playing Sorbo? Tempting. Let me check the remaining vowels. 19 out of 44, mildly vowel dry. I think I will play Sorbo. There are so many E's to come. Well, Sorbo only took an S and an E, but an O is a non-bingo-y tile. Both blanks unseen. So turning over one more tile increases my chances of drawing a blank. I am going with this. Well, I didn't manifest hard enough. The blanks elude me. I do have another scoring tile in the J. V prevents big plays in column 12 because there are no two-letter V words. Sorbo is nice. Quite often when you play a move, you're creating options for opponent, but Sorbo creates very, very little, just column 8 onto an O. So what am I going to do with the J? It's nice that I've got an O to go with it. So I could play Joe and Jar, but that's creating a little too much action for opponent or opportunity. Gosh, I have Oscar and Ritornells, but with two blanks and an S unseen, I don't think that's justified, but it is there. 32 points. I don't have any J plays in column 8. Gin is good, but I'd like to do something about this duplicate O. Wow, I played off an O and drew 2 of them. So if I'd played Sorbs, I could have had 3 O's on my rack. Now, I can't get the J doubled with a 5-letter play through the I of Viney. I do have Jow in that spot, which I think takes an S. Yeah, so maybe worth playing Jows, keeping ORS. Well, not now, that's been blocked. But opponent unblocks column 12. Oh, what a shame Jow doesn't play there because IA not good. Viva takes an S and a T, 9 minutes on my clock. Well, I do have something quite nice. Look at this, I have Joe at the top for 36 points, and since I trail, I don't particularly want to expedite the end of the game. And 36 points is a lot. At the bottom of column 2, it would have been 27, and it would have created a lot of opportunities, whereas this creates nothing. Okay, so finally the E's start to come out, and there could be plenty more of them. Not seeing a 7 with this rack. I still have Oscar, but with these 2 blanks and an S to come, I don't really want to open up row O. I have a slender lead. Now, column 12 is quite hot. The pattern of high-scoring tile vowel, consonant vowel, fits a lot of words. So opponent could put Z there for a massive score. Not much I can do about that. Well, I wonder if on previous moves I've had the A for amity and overlooked that hook. But I do have it now. But I'm not seeing anything great through that, but that would take out the column 12 opportunity. I have Roans, R-O-A-N-S. R is a useful tile. So slightly reluctant to play that. I have Eanes in that spot, E-A-N-S, but that's then setting up column 8. Super tricky technical board for both of us. A bingo would blow it wide open. Now, new floater in the V. There probably are some bingos with this rack with the right floater, but I'm not seeing a 7. I'm not seeing a bingo with the V. What about an N? Seasoner. Omity, not good. Yeah. Seasoner and reseason through an N. Or what about through an I? Not seeing anything, and that's it for floaters. Now, surely the blanks are going to come out soon. There's also an I in Viney. Now, this is quite nice. I could play Ash, A-E-S-C, which doesn't open up the bottom of the board, and totally sorts my rack out, leaving a rack leave of Rose. That's quite nice. I have been working always on the basis that the best rack leave is one with 2 more consonants than vowels, and that vowel equality and vowel surfeits are bad. But I feel from the Macondo rack valuations that is no longer the case. AEI used to have a value of -6 and now has a value of +2, and that is a rack leave of 3 vowels and no consonants. So I feel I need to revise my rack evaluation in that rack. I've heard rumours for some time that vowels have been undervalued, and the Macondo valuation really put some hard statistics behind that. So that's one reason why a play of Ash, keeping Rose, causes me less alarm or less concern than it might have done before, given the equality of vowels and consonants in the rack leave. Still 2 L's to come and quite a few LC words. So I have Ash. I don't have an alternative at the moment. Column 14 available for 9-letter plays beginning JA. I don't have one. And column 15 available for plays beginning OS or OT. Opponent down to 8 minutes. And the same with myself. Row N fairly hot with L's and S's hooking Porter. And opponent changes. Wow. And that took a long time. And opponent has only changed 2 tiles, which suggests he's super close, or she, to a bingo. And that, again, makes me happier with Ash, which doesn't create any new lanes. If opponent wants to bingo in row N, they'll be opening row O, and this is a pretty handy 4-letter rack leave. I am going with this. Wow. No bingos. What a game. I have had no bingos at all this game, and that is unusual. Just 26 tiles to come, and my lead just 49 points. And I think this rack is worse than the last one. I'm not seeing a 7, and I'm also not seeing an 8. I've got shoe as a component part of a word with O-R-E. Not seeing anything beginning with V. But I do have a scoring tile in the H, and who and oh-ho are both good. Still 5 E's to come. Column 2, hot because of spin. Wow. Don't think I can do much about that. But what can I do about this rack? If I had another O, I would have hooroo. Yeah, if opponent bingos, I think it's almost certainly going to be row N or column 2. So there it goes. Opponent does bingo, 77 points. What can I do about that? So, well, in the first instance, I don't have a bingo with the C. R only takes an E, but there are tons to come, and I've got some. So I have hero. And this is good because it scores well, it stops opponent playing there. I'm creating a new lane, which I now need to do since I trail. This will take me level with opponent, but opponent will have the tempo, which means that it's a situation where scores are tied, but it's opponent to play, and therefore most likely to win. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 26, and half of the remaining vowels are E's. Just one A, one I, one O, and one U to come. So 8 out of 27 is really vowel dry, so therefore keeping 2 vowels and 1 consonant is fine. And not particularly desirable to play off anymore. H goes well with C. But I still think hero is best for 28. Well, my non-bingo racks continue, but I'm still in the game. Remaining tiles, super bingo-y. Is opponent about to have back-to-back bingos? Now, column 12. This hotspot remains available, but I don't see anything beginning XI. I don't have an A for Amity. I have Xenon on my rack. I'm not seeing anything ending in O. Not seeing anywhere for Xenon to play. Phew, great. Opponent doesn't have back-to-back bingos. How can I sort this rack out? So, anything with the V. Well, I have Vox. GNN in the absence of I's. Not very nice. But it is 26 points. Opponent has only scored 12. Fantastic. Oh, wow, I'm so... Well, no, I was going to say I'm so close to Exogen, but EO not good. I do have I have Oxen. But how dangerous is this given the vowel drought? Let me recheck that. 8 vowels out of 20. That's not terrible. Oxen 29 points, but I'm creating a really nice 5-letter lane. I'm taking out a bingo lane. Still tempted by this. However, 5 minutes on my clock. Am I more tempted by something else? Where else can I play this X? I could just play Ox, but then I'm keeping GNN, which isn't good. If I play Oxen, opponent can't put a high-scoring tile under the N, and we'll have to burn two vowels. And not many scoring tiles left, just W, Z, and P, so I'm minded to play Oxen. Also, turning over tiles increases my chances of drawing a blank and an E. Well, interesting. So, opponent doesn't have the Z. Well, every remaining tile is bingo-y, and look at column 2. So, although I lead, I think I'm in pretty poor shape. This has been an awful pick. I picked up every bad tile in the bag. I do have was in row O, but that doesn't get tripled. But it does sort the rack out. This is really the rack you don't want to see when you're very close. Any of the tiles I drew could have stopped opponent from bingoing, but look at this. Pick any 7 and you've pretty much got a bingo. However, a bingo would need to end in S. I don't think there are any other lanes, or the other lanes are quite restricted. Now, what about column 12? Of course, I just don't have enough vowels. If I had an E, I would have Zine in that spot. Well, it may be worth playing for that with 4 E's to come. 5 minutes on opponent's clock, 4 on mine. Opponent may well be tempted to play bottom right since he doesn't have the Z. If opponent doesn't have a bingo. If they have a bingo, I am sure it's coming down. Yeah, opponent does take out that spot. So, 4 minutes on my clock, 6 tiles to come. What do I do? What about hanging on to Z and N and playing off as much as possible of my remaining tiles in the hope of drawing an E for Zine? Opponent has created an S lane. So do I have anything? Wow, I have pawns. But that burns the N, which I need for Zine. So what to do is, well, I could play pugs. I'd like to get rid of the W. How to do that? Jaw is good. Hones keeps... Wow, I don't like it. I don't like it. K is good. So I've got PU. PUN, keeping GWZ. I don't like that. One minute on my clock. I'm going with this to increase my chances of drawing an E for column 12. And I draw one. No bingo here, but I do have Zine. 2 tiles in the bag. Is opponent about to bingo? And do I have any alternatives to Zine? What about column 8? I have Wands in column 15 if opponent doesn't play there. For instance, if they bingo in column 2, I have not created an S lane bingo in column 15 unless it's a double overlap. So 2 tiles in the bag. Does opponent have a bingo? I lead by 20, but I'm about to get a big score in column 12 if opponent bingos, unless he bingos through this I. I have Wezand on my rack. Not seeing anything better than Wands in column 15. Not seeing anything better than Zine in column 12. Three minutes on opponent's clock. Column 15 still available for bingos beginning OS or OT, pretty unlikely. So the 2 hot bingo lanes, column 2, column 15, and surely opponent has got a bingo. What does Zine score? Oh, only 52. I was hoping it was going to be much higher. So that would take me to 380, probably dead level with opponent, but I don't think that's going to be good enough. If opponent bingos now and I draw level, opponent will have 2 tiles and will almost certainly be able to go out. Yeah. So 81 points for opponent. Now there is a bigger Z spot next to ZA. So I have Waz in this spot for 72. Is that going to be enough? And can I do even better? Wow. If I had an R, I would have Where's. Yeah, surely there's nothing better than this. The Z has to go in exactly this position. I'm down to 50 seconds. I'm going with this. So opponent trails by 17. We'll get 10 on count back. Needs 7 to draw, 8 to win. Just looking around for spots for opponents. I feel there should be a good enough spot. I and R. Well, I've not seen it yet. Opponent has 2 minutes to find it. And I have 50 seconds if opponent doesn't go out. So at the moment, are there any outs at all? If not, I should prepare my... Well, no, but opponent could play jar, so what am I going to do? Am I going out? Gosh, this is really quite critical. Opponent could win. Surely opponent's not going to win if they don't go out. I don't think I've got anything through the I or the N, and I'm looking just for outs at the moment. 1 minute on opponent's clock. Nothing bottom left. Nothing goes in front of EH that I've got. I could play EN, and Nothing goes in front of Zar. I have done and you. I do have an out in column 13. Do I have a second? Well, can opponent block that? Yes. No, I don't think opponent can. Opponent plays jar. So I have done for 12. Wow. Unbelievable. And the final score, 394 to opponent, 415 to me, a winning margin of 21 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. What a game. So, I was not expecting to win that. It was me to go first. With all, that would have been better than wealth. Better rack leave, marginally. Opponent has bulk for 16. Now, I had a few horror show racks. E10 Mighty, that was my play, and I was glad to see that. Mr. Bingo, out earn. Opponent plays Utah, but D6. Had out earn because of the A hook for Mighty. Okay, that was a let off. Webify H4. Gosh, that would have been fun to play. But I play Wifey instead for 22. Could also have spelt it EY. Yeah, and I think BIA probably better than BIY, so I think the alternative spelling would have been better. And it wouldn't have given opponent their bingo. Viney, that was my play. Opponent plays dead. And now I have Abacai for 32. So I have a slender lead. Opponent plays Porter. And I play No Men for 19. Keeping OSS, Mons available, M6. Mons, Anan and Debs, I like that. Slightly better rack lead. NOS. than OSS and a better score. Opponent with the QV combo plays Chi, and now I'm swamped with S's, Oscars. I thought about that. I thought about Oscar. Preferred Sorbo. Yeah, and I still do, although it's 13 fewer points. Oscar was creating a very hot spot in row O. Opponent plays Viva. And now Joe for 36 was my play. Ow, Miss Bingo, Suitia. Opponent changes. So where was that? N3, Suitia and Porters. Difficult one to see. I missed Bingo. I have Serosi. Ouch. In the same spot as opponent had Suitia. And I was delighted to spot Ash, but I missed the Bingo on this turn. So, well, it's a shame, but I think opponent would have bingoed straight back for a big score in row O. As it is, I got the 30 points for Ash and had first dibs at row O. No bingo. Reach available for 33. I play Hero for 28, and I like that. I think row O holds out more scoring potential for opponent, and I was able to make that play and create a new lane. Opponent has drawn the second blank, plays Fug. My rack, and I play Oxen for 29. Yeah. However, K10. Lanks available. Oh, onto the same, with the X in the same spot, but just playing down from LA and retaining, yeah, a pretty nice 5-letter set. So I think Lanks would have been better. Missed bingo, Leglet, C2 and spin. Instead, opponent plays leg for 10, creating an S lane in column 14. 6 tiles in the bag. I play Pugs because I had an eye on keeping this hot Z spot available. Yeah, there wasn't anything great available, so I wasn't making a big score sacrifice. Although it's interesting, Gups would have played in that spot, and G doesn't take an E, so possibly Gups would have been better. This was opponent's rack. A ton of bingos in column 15, which wouldn't have played with Gups, but also a ton of bingos in column 2. The column 2 bingos would have opened access to column 1, so I think overall Gups would have been better. Now, my rack, and I have Waz for 72, which was fantastic. Does opponent have a win? No, they don't. Plays Jar, and this is my final rack. I have Done and Node on the right and Ondine on the left for a guaranteed out. So, what an amazing game. Absolutely astonishing stuff. I was dead and buried with the Pugs rack, and then got Waz down, and opponent somehow managed to draw 2 tiles, which he was unable to play out in one. So absolutely extraordinary final sequence of events, and certainly on the Pugs play, I found that incredibly hard to find the best play, and I still don't know what the best play is. So if you've got any thoughts on that, do leave them below. Anyway, many thanks to opponent for a tremendous battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.